Welcome friends. In next very few minutes I am going to discuss how to manage diabetic ketoacidosis. When we talk of management of diabetic ketoacidosis, we should understand what are the problems associated with diabetic ketoacidosis. As term depicts, diabetes, keto and acidosis. So the problems are hyperglycemia, which is blood sugar level more than 250 milligram per deciliter. The other is ketosis, where there is presence of ketones in urine and blood. We have acidosis, so the pH is between 6.8 to 7.3. Total body potassium is decreased, though initially we can get a little elevated potassium level. Bicarbonates levels are decreased, and the metabolic acidosis which we see in diabetic ketoacidosis is having high anion gap. Along with, we have decrease in sodium concentration, and this decrease in sodium concentration is 1.6 milliequivalent for each 100 milligram per deciliter rise in serum glucose. We have decrease in chloride, magnesium and phosphorus. Serum creatinine and blood urea nitrogen are elevated due to fluid deficit and dehydration. We can get leukocytosis and hyperglyceridemia. Now, when we know these are the problems, then we will have to manage this. So what are the problems which we have to manage? We have to manage blood glucose, we have to manage the hydration, maintain the potassium balance, maintain sodium, magnesium, chloride, bicarbonate, phosphate. We have to take care of acid base status, pH, bicarbonate level, PCO2, beta hydroxybutyrate, and renal function in terms of serum creatinine and reduced urinary output. So let us first come how we manage fluid deficit in cases of diabetic ketoacidosis. As we know, if there is hypotension, then it indicates that there is at least 10% or more of fluid deficit, and which is approximately 3 to 5 liters in the body. So we have to replace initial 2 to 3 liter of fluid in first 1 to 3 hours, and this has to be given at the rate of 10 to 20 ml per kg per hour. After replacing this much of fluid, we should start half nor, which is 0.45% normal saline at the rate of 250 to 500 ml per hour. Now we have to add 5% dextrose to this 0.45% saline whenever this blood sugar level goes below 250 milligram per deciliter, and this has to be given at the rate of 150 to 250 ml per hour. The next is managing hyperglycemia. For this, we have to start short acting insulin, and this short acting insulin is given at the rate of 0.1 unit per kg IV bolus initially. So whatever be the body weight of patient, we have to divide that body weight of patient by 10, and that much of insulin has to be given as bolus. So suppose if a patient is having 60 kg body weight, then 60 divided by 10, that is 6 units of short acting regular insulin has to be given as bolus. Then we have to start infusion at the rate of 0.1 unit per kg per hour continuous infusion. So the rate is very easy to calculate, it's very simple. Whatever is the body weight of patient, take that much amount of insulin and dissolve it in 50 ml of NS if you are using infusion pump, and in that case, after dissolving that into infusion pump, we have to start at 5 ml per hour. Now if you don't have infusion pump, then don't worry, add the insulin equal to body weight of the patient in 500 ml of saline and start it at the rate of 50 ml per hour. Now how will you give that 50 ml per hour? That's very simple. Whatever amount of fluid has to be given in 1 hour, you have to divide it by 4. So if it is 50 ml, then divide it by 4, that is 12.5 units. So we can give it by using 12 to 13 drop per minute, and it will be equivalent to the rate of 50 ml per hour. The rate can be increased to 2 to 3 times if there is no response by 2 to 4 hours. So from 0.1 to 0.3 unit per kg per hour we can give, and the next is we have to decrease the rate to 0.02 to 0.1 unit per kg per hour if there is no response to if there is better response to insulin therapy. Now we have to add dextrose to the fluid. When we will add, if there is a plasma glucose level of 200 to 250 milligram per deciliter, then we have to add dextrose to this 0.45% of saline to maintain plasma glucose level between 150 to 200 milligram per deciliter. Why you need insulin? You have to use insulin to lower the rate of synthesis of ketogenesis. So we have to inhibit ketogenesis because insulin will reduce the lipolysis, it will reduce the hepatic ketone formation, and it promotes the peripheral ketone body utilization. In this way we are going to manage this ketoacidosis. What else? The other most important thing to manage is potassium. We know the potassium stores are depleted in diabetic ketoacidosis, and it is further depleted because of inward shifting of potassium into the cells because of starting of insulin. So we have to replenish potassium whenever there is adequate urine output and serum potassium levels are normalized. How we give? We have to give 20 to 40 milliequivalent of potassium in each liter of IV fluid. Target is to maintain the potassium level more than 3.5 milliequivalent per liter, and to reduce the chloride load, as we are already using sodium chloride, which may lead to hyperchloremic metabolic acidosis. Replace this KCl fluid with potassium phosphate or potassium acetate whenever needed. The last thing to manage is bicarbonate. How will use bicarbonate? Routinely we don't need to use bicarbonate, we don't replace bicarbonate, but if there is severe acidosis where the pH is less than 7.0 and shock or patient is in coma, if there is severe depletion of sodium by plasma bicarbonate which is less than 5 milliequivalent per liter, in that case you may have to give bicarbonate supplementation. For that you have to take 50 to 100 milliequivalent of soda bicarb in 1 liter of 0.4% normal saline, and this has to be infused over 1 to 2 hours, and this has to be given till the pH is increased to more than 7.0. Simultaneously, sometimes you have to give potassium because after giving bicarbonate there can be hypokalemia. Rapid reversal of acidosis is avoided because it may lead to impairment of cardiac function, it may reduce tissue oxygenation. Now we have managed IV fluid, we have gave insulin, we have gave potassium, as per need we have given bicarbonate. Sodium has to be monitored, so there are certain things which we need to monitor. How will we monitor? We will monitor blood glucose on hourly basis. We have to look for electrolyte on 2 hourly basis. ABG as and when required, and ECG monitoring is required to look for the changes of hypo or hyperkalemia, and this is the simple way to manage diabetic ketoacidosis. Thank you very much.